fish jump on board with one swish of their tail.
I am Peter Hendrick. I am a Commissioner of Election. So we will be conducting this vote by vote sport. We do have a number of gentlemen and that will be voting, and as we were reminded, that was the vote, that is the current voting, that only men, white men 21 years or older, can vote in any kind of an election. I am a resident of this district. I'm a farmer from New York State that I came down in 1854, just a few years ago, during a period of major immigration from the north. I do not own slaves, nor have I ever felt the need to own any. By careful and hard work, and through the spiritual guidance and direction of the Almighty, I have acquired more than 10,000 acres and am worth more than $5,000. Woo! I have a wife and children, one of which is William Hendrick. William lives in the Lewisville area and will no doubt be voting in that district today. I do see a few individuals living in, I must remind you that only those individuals living in this district are allowed to vote. The district served by Lydeker Store. I do notice more than a few individuals that I believe are from the area of Providence, and no doubt you should be voting at Fairfax Courthouse today. We will be checking the records. I must tell you, take a few minutes before we begin our vote and explain a few things that will help you better understand why we are here at this very uncomfortable spot in our country and in our town. This may appear to go off a bit on a wandering path, but I assure you that very soon you will have a much better understanding than what you currently have. And by so will be better prepared and qualified to vote on this most important issue. As I noted in my earlier comments, I moved down here during a period of major immigration. More than 1,000 families moved down here to Fairfax County from New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. It appears that our brethren from the South were growing tobacco, and their dependence on forced labor had exhausted the lands of Fairfax County. Exhausted to the point that only in the very extreme cases did they stay. Many moved west, attempting to sell their farms for as little as $3 per acre, and in more than a few cases simply abandoned their farms and their homes, simply walked or rode away with whatever few items that they could carry. Largely dependent on reports that a New Yorker published, such as Samuel Janey in the Yankees in Fairfax County, Virginia by Virginian in 1848. We came to Fairfax County. We brought our families, and in some cases our own labor, our agricultural expertise and experience, and our desire to take advantage of what we can only consider here as a virtual Garden of Eden. You might ask why I call it that. The soils have the potential for great bounty, treated right. Free and willing labor where both parties benefit have demonstrated its advantage to the north. We also have a tremendous market tremendous opportunity for a market. Must I remind you that we are but 20 miles by rail to a tremendous and potentially unlimited market in Washington City. Surely those gentlemen who spend so much time crafting our laws and tariffs must have tremendous appetites.
We can have a debate here.
Yeah. Sir, I must remind you, this is the United States of America. Do you realize
This is Virginia, sir. This is Virginia soil, the Commonwealth thereof. Gentlemen of Fairfax County, listen to me. Listen to me. You have heard words from our brother down in Richmond. Tempestuous words, words talking about warfare, asking to fight for liberty. But I will tell you, we live so close to our brothers in the north that we have knowledge of their industry. We have knowledge of what they can bring if we engage in warfare. Gentlemen, I'm a proud Virginian just like all of you. I grew up in the Commonwealth of Virginia. My mother's family is from the Commonwealth of Virginia, but take heed that if we go to warfare against the northern states, sir, we will need armaments. We will need railroads. We will need men.
Hear, hear.
The slaveholding states represent only a small fraction of the population of this great republic. Unless we get assistance from overseas, we cannot win a long drawn-out war with the northern states.
You have already jumped ahead and assumed that we are going to war. We have come out of a Great Depression that ran from 37 to 47. We have built this economy back up.
We're in a state of war already, sir. We're in a state of war already.
We are. Look at what happened down in Fort Sumter.
That's precisely right.
That's aggression.
Well, maybe it is aggression. But what I'm saying is, gentlemen of Virginia and ladies of Virginia, we are in a unique position in this Commonwealth to mediate between our brothers in the South and our brothers in the North. We can mediate this conflict. We can find a solution to this conflict if we allow ourselves to be dragged into this war as a participant. Then this county of Fairfax will be like the Rhineland in Europe. It will be awash in blood for a generation.
So, sir, I believe you're supporting my concept that there's the last thing that we should do would be to go to war with the South, or with the North, and to secede. That would be folly.
And with both of these gentlemen, that we should stay with the Union, for a very practical reason. Okay, the Union has the industry. It has the ability to have massive artillery and naval power. Only in cavalry does the South predominate. And I would predict that with secession, there would be a war, and that war might be as long as a year. Okay? Can you imagine a year-long war?
Oh.
And this would be the battleground, as this gentleman states. Virginia would be the battleground.
This Yankee president has already called for 75,000 troops to invade the Commonwealth. And when they come, they're going to come right
War
here.
is declared.
And this land is going to be awash in blood. Our blood.
That's coward talk, sir. That's coward talk. Why talk
That's
like
not
that? We'd
coward
still be
talk.
calling the Queen our leader.
I was down in Mexico. I saw what war did.
Was a man of courage and distinction, sir, and he would not have listened to these dulcimer tones. He would have stood up and fought for what he believed in liberty and freedom,
Mr.
not
Adams.
the sweet sounds of slavery to Washington, D.C.
Excuse me, Mr. Adams, I believe your courage comes from the bottle.
So my courage comes from our Virginian heritage. That's where it comes from.
You
It's a
keep,
Commonwealth.
you keep your Virginia honor in that bottle, sir.
This is Tennessee honor, sir. My Virginian honor lies here.
I might say that where we are today, we are the center of the universe for this country. We in Virginia, in the Commonwealth of Virginia, have been the home place and the maker of presidents, patriots, and statesmen.
Hear, hear.
We can continue to be that way. However, if we secede and we become a border state to the Confederacy with its headquarters in its center of the universe, down in the cotton belt, sir, we will now be a stepchild and will lose all kinds of influence.
Ah.
Are we saying that we will stay in the Union because we are afraid of the Yankee soldiers? Is that what you're saying? I say we'll fight them.
Here, here. For our last breath, we'll fight for our liberty.
If we're going to die or get hurt, our families are going to be devastated.
That's yellow belly talk.
It's not yellow belly talk. It's
Is
common
Mr. Lincoln
sense.
going to let those 75,000 soldiers back?
I will be proud to die on Virginia soil,
Here,
defending
sir.
it from Yankee
Here,
invasion.
here.
What do you know of dying, sir?
I
What
fought
do
in
you
the
know of
Mexican War,
fighting, sir? I think not. You do not know what you speak.
And where do you come
speak
from, sir?
rationally. Sir, you are irrational in your thought and speech. You do not know of warfare. You have not engaged in combat.
Who is this Yankee here?
Why I fight with
Hold
my
your
wife every
tongue,
night.
sir.
This is not a discussion for Yankees. This is a discussion for Virginians, sir.
I am a Virginian.
By birth, sir? By heritage?
By moving here, and it does not matter what birth.
Oh, you
Or
are not a
heritage.
Virginian. You are not a Virginian,
From
sir.
where,
I can tell by your manner and disposition. You are not a
consider
gentleman.
yourself. Oh,
You are not a gentleman. This is
I
a place
demand.
for gentlemen.
You are not a gentleman, sir. And if you were not of the bottle, then I would thrash you with an inch of your life.
I would love to see that, sir.
So I believe we need to move this little episode along here.
Very good,
So,
sir.
I'm going to go on ahead. Yes, sir.
May I speak, sir?
You may speak.
Finally, reason.
No, we'll let anybody speak in the United States of America.
I think most of you know me. Arminius P. Birdsong. My family moved up here from South Carolina 5 generations ago. We've owned the same land, farmed the same land all that time, and all that time enjoyed the liberties that this country has given us.
And drove it into the ground.
However, some of those liberties that we were promised have been taken away one at a time and two at a time until we get to the point where we stand today. It distresses me greatly, first of all, for 2 reasons that we are even here today. First of all, we have come to the conclusion that we must ask this question of secession or not, and that is the primary thing that bothers me solely. But the second thing is that we have waited until today to do it. I just want to make sure every one of you know you vote your own conscience. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I would like to suggest it, of course, but I'm not going to tell you how. But I want you to understand what you're voting for. What people have not necessarily told you, that as of December of last year, 81 cents out of every single dollar that goes into those federal coffers up in Washington, D.C. has come from taxes on southern shipping ports. 81% of it the South has provided through their ports. But not one dime is being spent down south, including this state. It's being spent down south on public works, railroads, highways. It's all being spent up north. There's one of our promises broken.
Thieves.
Another one. The president that is now in office is there by the north. He did not carry one single state in the south, and 4 states down south, he wasn't even on the ballot.
Vote Democratic.
So you see what's happening. The northern states are saying who will go into office and who will not. The southern states are expected to just sit by and accept whatever is dished out to them by those Yankees up in Washington. Well, we, sir, I say, we are tired of it. We need to have a say just like everybody else. The gerrymandering has to stop. We have, people talk about secession. It's already happened all over the South. People talk about war. It's coming. There's no way to get away with that.
I understand your comments, and I'm sure these people more than thoroughly understand your feelings about it. If you would please kindly step off the stage, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity to at least advise you what you're getting yourselves into here.
Made yourself
Well said, sir. Well said.
I would like to take at this point, we are going to have a few more comments by a distinguished gentleman that can vote. But before we do that, I'd like to remind you as to what we're voting on. There was the ordinance of secession passed in April of last month in Richmond, but we also had April 27th of the 1861 resolutions adopted that basically said in Fairfax County, by public meeting, separation of slave and non-slave holding states. Separation may be peaceful and it may be effected without civil war and bloodshed. 3, to ensure tranquility at home and prevent strife and discord, we are going to establish central home guard and auxiliary guards in our neighborhoods.